Good evening. I'm Dr. Firnhaber, and we're doing this talk in my family room tonight just due to the fact that we had the big snow event, and nobody's really out on the roads tonight, and I can't blame them. So this talk is called Understanding Healthy Skin, and you might ask, why would a chiropractor talk about skin? I mean, most people think that our big thing is the spine and musculoskeletal issues, but from my standpoint, I'm a holistic doctor and I look at the whole body, and skin is often a reflection of what's going on internally. And so a lot of people out there have skin issues, and skin issues can be really hard on the self-esteem. They can be really troubling, and most of what people get when they use conventional medicine are things that actually suppress the symptoms rather than helping to identify the underlying cause. So I want to talk about some major skin issues tonight and give you some ideas that might really help you. So let's just talk about the skin. Skin's the largest organ in the body. It weighs anywhere from 7.5 to 22 pounds, depending on the size of the person. We're really hermetically sealed with our skin. It protects us from moisture and bacteria, excessive heat. It helps regulate body temperature, stores moisture, and it contains fat. Now, let's just talk about some common skin conditions that people have. One is dermatitis, in other words, eczema, acne, and there's different kinds of acne: acne vulgaris, cystic acne, hormone-related acne, which is primarily along the cheeks, the jawline, and the temples, acne rosacea, and psoriasis. And we're just going to put acne under one large heading, okay? Now, let's just talk about eczema first, okay? Now, eczema is also known as atopic dermatitis, and it's an inflammatory condition of the skin, worse in the flexures where we bend our elbows and knees. And by the way, I apologize if you can't see the screen. We don't know why you can't see it, so I'm just going to talk to you and just refer to my computer on occasion. A lot of times eczema will progress into asthma. And there's two kinds of eczema. There's extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic eczema is usually caused by something outside the body, like it could be a food or an environmental allergy that's causing it. Intrinsic eczema is different. It's caused by something going on internally in the body. Now, allergens may not be completely the problem with eczema. Sometimes there's some genetic issues involved, and those issues can result in increased water loss from the skin barrier. Decreased defense to allergens and microbes results in an increased immune response and local inflammation. 75% of eczema cases show food allergies to milk, soy, eggs, wheat, and peanuts, yet when you remove the allergen, only about 35% of those patients clear up. So there's something else that's going on. Chocolate, seafood, oranges, celery, and yeast can also commonly provoke symptoms in patients with eczema. So there's a really, there can be a large food component. And if you've heard my talks before, you know that food can be a very big issue in lots of health issues. Lots of health problems involve food. Environmental sensitivities can include mold, pollen, and dust mites. There's some double-blind, placebo-controlled studies that showed avoidance of dust mite reduced eczema in some children, even when they didn't show an allergy to dust mites, which is pretty interesting. Also shown to be problematic, and this is where I think we really see a lot of problems with eczema, is toxic environmental exposures such as pollutants, solvents, pesticides, plasticizers, things like that. Now, there's a gut-skin barrier. In 1935, studies showed that reduction of hydrochloric acid was correlated with increased incidence of eczema. So a loss of stomach acid can actually produce eczema. And, you know, it's interesting because a lot of my patients have low hydrochloric acid. A lot of my GI patients, almost all of them do. Not quite all of them, but almost. Poor availability of small intestine enzymes is also correlated with some eczema patients. Subsequent correction of both those things, the enzymes and the stomach acid, resulted in improvement in the condition. Reduction of disaccharide intake, which is primarily sugar, is also helpful, likely due to lack of intestinal enzymes, which breaks down sugars, okay? Now, let's talk about acne. You know, acne is probably the most common disease of the skin. About 85% of teenagers and 42% of men, 50% of women between the ages of about 14 and 30 have some form of acne. And you know, I had some of it growing up. It's the scourge of the teenage years, and you know, nobody likes it. I hated it. You know, my sister always had clear skin, as did my brothers, but it was me that had it. You know, and so and I know a lot of people who had it worse than I did. So it's a real self-esteem issue when you're a teenager. Increase in adrenal or gonadal hormones during prepubescence or adolescence is a prime driver of acne in teenagers. And it causes increased sebum or fat formation for some, which can cause disruption of normal skin function. So one of the things I'm going to be recommending later on in this talk is balancing hormones in teenage kids. And there's a simple way to do this. Excess production of certain hormones are associated with increased risks of acne. For example, too much testosterone can produce acne. And we know that, like, these bodybuilders that get these testosterone shots, a lot of time will break out severely on their back and chest from those shots. So, you know, DHEA, DHEAS, androstenedione, and testosterone, DHT, all those things are male androgen hormones, and when they're high, they can contribute to acne. Growth hormone, insulin is another one. High insulin creates inflammation, all kinds of problems in the body. So the way you lower insulin, the primary way, is through avoiding sugar and exercising. Glucocorticoids is another problematic hormone for acne. Glucocorticoids are made in the adrenal glands, and when your adrenal glands are stressed, the glucocorticoids are released from the adrenals, and that can contribute to acne. So these are also known to trigger sebum production in the sebaceous glands and cause these issues. So rule number one to skin problems, and I want you to understand this, there's no one treatment that fits everybody. Not one size fits all. So there's not, we don't, you know, there's, in the medical profession, you know, they give Accutane or they'll give amoxicillin or other different types of treatment to treat acne. But, you know, you don't get acne because of amoxicillin deficiency. I mean, even birth control pills are given to help with acne in girls. And you don't have acne because you have a birth control pill deficiency. So there's something else going on. So we need to look at some of the foundational aspects of health. We need to look at things like how good is your liver detoxifying? How well is that happening? How well are you digesting? You know, are you eating too much junk food? Have you lowered your enzymes and your hydrochloric acid production? How's your bowel function? What about your endocrine system? Are you overstressed? Are your adrenals constantly on fire due to stress in your life? Even poor eating habits cause adrenal stress, like eating too much sugar, too much processed food that's laden with chemicals just beats the adrenals up badly. And finally, are there autoimmune issues going on? I mean, do you have things like leaky gut, intestinal permeability, food intolerances? Do you have things like that? Those are other things that need to be addressed. Rule number 2 is watch for healing crisis. The skin is especially prone to signs of excess treatment. So a healing crisis is not normal. It really should be avoided. And you might want to consider the use of depurative herbs. Now, depurative herbs are cleansing herbs. And we use some of those in our office. We have a product called SP Cleanse, which is very good for helping cleanse the system. Goal of treatment is to observe reduction of symptoms without exacerbating the problem. Now, we want to start with the basics with acne and eczema. The first thing we want to do is clean up the diet. We want to begin recommending whole foods, a more natural, organic type diet rather than a processed, high sugar, high grain, high fast food, high fried food diet. We want to really clean up the diet, make the diet a lot healthier. Second thing, we want to get blood sugar under control. High blood sugar raises that insulin. High insulin causes all kinds of problems in the body. So you want to control blood sugar. We want to remove known inflammatory or sensitive foods. Like a typical inflammatory food would be a donut, French fries, fried food. Fried foods are highly inflammatory. High sugar foods, highly inflammatory. We want to ensure adequate hydrochloric acid production, and we want to support the GI tract. Now, we have several products that do that. In my office, we use a product called GI Stability, which I absolutely love because it does so many wonderful things to the GI tract. Probiotics can be helpful. A high fiber diet, high fiber foods, fermented foods are great, like kimchi. We eat kimchi at our house. Another one would be sauerkraut, a good form of sauerkraut, very, very good fermented food. Kombucha tea, a very sour kombucha tea. And lactic acid yeast wafers are also really good for helping fermentation in the gut that we want. And we carry lactic acid yeast in our office. Another very important mineral for the skin is zinc. Zinc is very important for the skin and very, very important for male hormone production. So zinc's found in every tissue in the body. It plays a role in metabolism, blood sugar regulation, immune function, skin, and hormone regulation. Also very important for men for prostate health. Can help reduce sebum production, and there's a correlation between lowered zinc intake and the presence of acne. So zinc is actually found in foods like oysters, veal liver, beef and lamb, and pumpkin seeds. Also, for all you vegans out there, mushrooms are high in zinc. So those are just some of the foods that have lots of zinc. We use zinc chelate in our office primarily. That's our primary source of zinc. It's also in our product called Trace Minerals B12 has some zinc in it. Other nutritional support for the skin. Green tea is really good. It helps reduce production of sebum, has antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. Green tea is great for the GI tract. It is really, really good for that. Vitamin D is very good for skin. Vitamins A, B, and C, essential fatty acids like omega-3, chlorophyll complex, dermatrophin, and if the skin is really bad and there's lots of other issues, we would recommend the 21-day purification program, which Standard Process has. Now, other nutritional support for the skin, chlorophyll complex, great for skin. A lot of fat-soluble nutrients, a lot of vitamin A and E, and vitamin K in chlorophyll complex. Calcium lactate is necessary for optimal skin health. Cataplex F. Cataplex F is important because it actually pulls calcium out of the blood and into the tissue. That is really important. That's really important, like, if your skin is cracking and you're getting these cracking heals that are really very painful and sore, Cataplex F and calcium lactate is what you need for that. That will usually take care of that. Cataplex F also contains some iodine and some wheat germ oil. Wheat germ oil is really good for hormone production. Beta food and AF beta food for gallbladder and liver function is helpful. Let's just talk about some general considerations for eczema. First of all, if you can avoid dust mites, you need to do that. Eliminate cow's milk and other products. Replace protein and calcium in young children. They need that. If no symptoms change in 4 to 6 weeks, try different foods such as eggs, peanuts, or seafood. Replace that. Now, with kids, you have to go a little bit at a time, one food at a time, simply because with kids, if you take everything away, it's just not going to work. So you don't want to do that. Beneficial lipids for eczema. So there's certain fats that are really helpful. Castor oil, really good to apply topically to eczema. Another oil that's really, really good is evening primrose oil. You take it internally and you can apply it topically. Other oils are borage oil, hemp oil, and black currant seed oil. All good for eczema. My favorite of those is evening primrose oil. That's the one I primarily use. Some herbal considerations. Echinacea root helps balance the immune response. Andrographis really helps if there's like a staph infection causing the skin issue. Andrographis is a very, very good natural antibiotic. Albizia complex is very helpful for skin conditions related to allergies. And upper digestive support, really important if there's a gut issue, which there usually is. So we give Digest Forte, which has bitter herbs in it, very good for stimulating hydrochloric acid and stomach acid production. Now, let's look at depuratives. Depuratives are cleansers. They help eliminate toxins. Like I said before, SB Cleanse is good. And there's another product we have called burdock root. Really good, a really good depurative. But you gotta be slow on this. You don't want to try and cleanse too quickly. Now, indications for using depuratives. So for depurative herbs, anytime there's a real toxicity issue, that would be one. You want to decrease if you're detoxifying too fast and the problem gets worse, you want to decrease the dosage. And depuratives can also be used for joint diseases, connective tissue diseases, and fasting. Some of the herbal conditions for eczema, like I said, evening primrose oil I really like. It reduces inflammation. It provides gamma-linolenic acid, which is converted to omega-3, and it supports the dermal barrier, reduces inflammation. Turmeric is good. It reduces local inflammation of the skin. And boswellia can really help with skin issues. Other oils to consider, and there's a lot of them here. I won't go through all of them, like apricot, avocado. Some of these I've already mentioned. Grapeseed, hazelnut, palm oil, sesame oil, sweet almond oil, walnut oil. These are all oils that are helpful for skin conditions that can be applied topically. Now, with acne, one of the things that we want to do is we want to control blood sugar. You know, you want to cleanse the skin, but not too much. You know, no scrubbing or harsh cleansers. Consider a sapin-enriched soap such as fenugreek. And, you know, you might even be referred to a qualified esthetician for regular care. Now, herbal considerations for acne, echinacea for the infection, really good for any inflammatory condition, including the skin. Dermico, which helps with cleanse the skin, very good natural cleanser. Chaste tree. I want to talk about chaste tree for just a minute. For an adolescent, for a teenager, boy or girl, chaste tree can be very, very good for help balancing out hormones in teenagers. This is something I just discovered recently. I didn't know about that, and otherwise I'd have used a lot more. I use chaste tree a lot in cycling women to help balance their hormones, and it works great. But I found out that it can work with teenage boys too to help balance their hormones, especially the ones that are having acne issues. And they'll need, sometimes they need as many as 6 per day, which is a fairly healthy dose. Garlic and golden seal can have antimicrobial properties. They're also depuratives. Turmeric has been known to reduce skin inflammation. The last thing I want to talk about tonight is psoriasis. Psoriasis is it's tough. It's a tough issue. The cause of psoriasis always begins in the gut, in the GI tract. Psoriasis is an autoimmune condition of the skin. So when somebody has psoriasis, it's autoimmune, okay? And they give a lot of powerful autoimmune drugs that have a lot of side effects to people that have psoriasis. Number one cause is overuse of antibiotics. Number 2, yeast infection, usually caused from number 1. Number 3 is food sensitivities, especially gluten. And sometimes it can be heavy metal toxicity, especially mercury. So some of the solutions for psoriasis, again, you want to eat a whole food, anti-inflammatory diet, including wild-caught fish, dark leafy green vegetables, dark berries, nuts, and orange sweet potatoes. Eliminate inflammatory oils such as omega-6, which is all the processed and fast food. You want to just eliminate that. Your omega-6 fats, sunflower oil, safflower oil, corn oil, peanut oil. Another thing I would get tested for is yeast and leaky gut. Find out, if you've got psoriasis, you need to find out whether you have a yeast infection and leaky gut. And that has to be treated. Also, I would get tested for food intolerances. Take the proper supplements and herbs to heal the gut, which we do in our office, and which will also, by the way, tamp down the autoimmune problem. And regular exercise, has been shown to help people with psoriasis. So those are the major skin problems that I see in my office. Now, I don't claim to be a dermatologist, but I do claim to be a holistic healthcare provider and look for the cause of people's problems. And so this is just a brief introduction to skin issues. And I would ask you now, who do you know that has skin problems? Who do you know that's suffering, that hasn't been able to get help? Have them call our office. You know, maybe we can help them. make a functional medicine appointment and see if we can help some of those people that have skin issues. A lot of them have been to doctor after doctor after doctor. So many of the things they've been prescribed may take care of the symptoms, but actually exacerbate the underlying cause of the problem. And we want to bring healing to those issues. And if you've had skin issues for a long time, it may take some time to get it better. But a lot of times, if you find the cause, those issues can be healed. Now, one other thing that I want to mention, our next week's talk is on the importance and role of the nervous system in health and disease. It's a very, very important talk. If you've never heard that talk, I'd recommend that you come. And most of you know about the contests that we're having. We're giving away some really nice prizes, a really nice smartwatch, very nice air fryer, and then a gift certificate to the oven, $25 gift certificate. So if you want to get entered in our raffle for that, you just come to my talks on Tuesday night, refer patients, or write a nice Google review for us, like us on Facebook. If you do those things, let us know that you did. We'll enter you in the raffle to win. We're going to raffle that off on February 18th, which is our Patient Appreciation Day. On that day, we're going to be doing some complimentary spinal screenings. We do that at our expense. We just want to see if you've got friends and family out there who are not able to get better with the care that they're under. We just want to give them a chance to see if they're a good candidate for our office. So with that, I will say good night. I hope you all got your walks shoveled and your cars dug out, and hopefully we'll see you soon. God bless you. Thank you.